Hello, my friends, and welcome to another devotional connection. I want to read to you what I was learning from Christ's Object Lessons, page 96, and here it is. All the culture and education which the world can give will fail of making a degraded child of sin a child of heaven. Let me read that again. All the culture and education which the world can give will fail of making a degraded child of sin a child of heaven. As an educator, as a teacher, as a leader, as a father, as a brother, as a son, I think about what that means for me in my life. Part of the mission that God has given me is to work with kids. And I've been in the education field before, and as a pastor and teacher, you never kind of leave that field. And here it's saying that everything that the world has to offer, all the education, all the knowledge that we have, all the culture that we have, can't do anything to change a person on the inside and take them from the degraded child of sin that they are. We're all born in sin, to become a child of heaven. It takes an outside force. It takes them something from the outside to come into their lives and make the change. If we could do it ourselves, if it was just willpower, if it was just strength of character, we wouldn't need a savior. But it takes God from the outside to come into our lives and change us. And he won't force his way on anyone. He will woo. He will, I put it like this, God is the greatest stalker that I've ever met. He hunts us down, just like any father would to his lost children, because he knows what's out there waiting for you, and he doesn't want you to endure that without him. He doesn't want you to go through that and feel alone. So he knows, I can help you. Please let me help you. And he tracks you down, and he hunts you down, and he provides you every opportunity to let him in. The problem is, a lot of times what we see is us trying to legislate morality from the outside. We try to look the part before we are the part. We try to make ourselves feel better by having everyone conform before they've had a change of heart. I think about the first time I went to a mission, and I think it was San Juan Capistrano. I'm not sure the first one that I went to. That name just is ringing in my memory right now. As a kid, I went there and I saw the mission that was there, and the building and had all this lore and history, but there was a pathway that led downstairs, and downstairs was a prison or dungeon underneath the sanctuary where people would worship upstairs and people would be being tortured downstairs, being forced into a religion and forced into a language that wasn't their own, and being shown God in the most malicious way. I think about the letter of King Ferdinand to Haiti and how Christianity was represented there. And it was just widely accepted that this is what it was. This is the right thing to do. And I think about things that we do now in trying to make everyone conform before God has had a chance to change their heart. And we get ahead of God sometimes because God gives grace and mercy, and God plays the long game, and he does things the right way, so that when people come to him, it will be of their own will and their own volition, their own desire to change. I'm a living witness of what he's done for me, what he's done to me. But none of it happened until I let him in. There were people who represented him to me so well that I saw the things in them that I wanted for myself, and I realized that change had to come. And I realized that I had to be something different. And the only way it was going to happen was not by modeling myself after people, although that's where it started. Instead, I started asking them what their secret was. And I started listening. And I started learning. And I started searching for God. And I found him. And he moved into my heart and he's still cleaning up the space. But I'm a far cry different from the man that I was before I let him in. I share this with you only to say this. As a pastor, educator, as a mentor, as a leader, I have to be very careful of how I represent God. And I have to get better at it every single day. Because there are people who are looking at me and how I live my life, how I use my words, how I smile through adversity, how I grit and keep moving forward despite what's happening in the world, despite what's being done, despite all of the issues that arise. They're looking at my faith in him and my trust in him, namely my 3 children. And they are going to see something in me that they want for themselves. And they're testing it to see if it's true. Is it honest? Are you for real? Does this really work? Is Jesus going to really come into my life and do it for me? It's not my words. It's how I live my life that has been the biggest example to others. And it was the biggest example to me. It's important for me to carry myself as a child of God. No matter if I'm at work or at home, on the phone, with my friends, with my family, whether I'm at the grocery store, whether I'm getting ice cream, it's important that I carry myself as a child of God so that others may see him in me. My question to you today is, how do you carry yourself? Are you carrying yourself like a child of God? Or are you carrying yourself like a child of the world? Is your conversation about him? Or is your conversation about what's happening in this world? Is your focus every day on his things? Or is your focus on you? We have to be very careful and be very sure of how we conduct ourselves as his children, so that the evidence of the work in his life, his work in our lives, I should say, draw others to him. Talk to you again soon.